The environment is everything around you.
Okay.
And this influences how you act, how you behave, and also the way you just see certain things in there, right? Everything around you that affects how you think, how you feel, and act.
And act.
I love the way it has been put. How you think, act, and feel in that very moment.
There is, just like you've put it to say, the environment is everything around you. And it controls, or maybe it influences how you think, how you feel, and how you act. So meaning it really matters. The environment really matters. Now, time and again, a number of us have been exposed to different types of environments. Some environments have been a positive type of environment on us, and some environments have really been toxic or have really been bad. How can a person be able to identify, to say this environment is actually maybe holding me back when it comes to progress I'm supposed to be making for maybe in my career, in my relationship with God, or just in life in general? Maybe this environment is actually holding me back. How do I identify that environment?
Okay, so it starts, you can't identify it if you don't know where you're going.
There is a truth that a number of us usually overlook, and it's about the environment that we are in. We do not take time to understand that the environment we're in can either build us or break us. It has the ability to actually cause us to excel in life, or cause us actually to be stagnant. So welcome to the Spotlight, where we have meaningful conversations that edify, equip, and ignite the pursuit of purpose. And as usual, never walk alone. Today I am joined by a brother and friend, somebody so dear to my heart.
Oh, really? Do you have a t-shirt nearby?
Yeah, I think recently I was telling him to say, one of these fine days when I have like a fine baby like this, I'll bring like a baby to you so that you teach the child, let the child come back with his accent. Because what do you mean? Brother man, how are you?
Awesome, how are you?
All right, thank you. So I'll just allow you to introduce yourself to the people. Yeah.
Wow, this is a moment that you have been waiting for. But hey, good morning, good afternoon, whatever time that you're going to be watching this episode. My name is Clifford Ndovi, but I love just to be called Cliff. Yeah. I'm a photographer, videographer, content creator, but I'm more on the behind the scenes. I push people to just, for them to expand and grow into who they're trying to be at that very moment. And I love God, guys.
You love God.
I'm a child of God. Like, that has to be part of the CV.
Has to be part of the
CV. Yeah, because I feel like my life me in that part, like we're leaving God out of the conversation. I feel like it's not making sense.
Not making sense.
Yeah.
It's like taking a part of who you are outside.
Yeah.
I get that a number of us, nobody chose where to be born from. Yeah, so we just found ourselves here.
Where were you born from?
Yeah.
Where were you born from?
So I was born within Lusaka. But because a common, I think it should be. Where was that? I can't remember. But yeah, it's within Lusaka. So born and bred in Lusaka. Went to Kablonga Girls. Went to Virachilova Basic School. And we here we are. Probably maybe just give us a background story of who you are, where you're coming from, what's life been like for you.
Well, I've been a Lusaka child all my entire life. I was born in Lusaka, went to the Central Province in Kapering Ponshi.
Yeah.
I did part of my childhood there, then came back to Lusaka and started everything, my school.
Yeah.
And that's when I also just gave my life to God, discovered more about myself. So I've been more of, I would say, the Mayadi type of child. But I've had like both experiences of trying to live. Yeah, I'm not coming Mayadi when we know. the cool places. I don't like to call it the common places. The cool places. I call them like that. Because everything, there's so much that goes on, and there's so much entertainment, guys, that goes on. But also, everything has been in Lusaka. Yeah.
All right. Probably maybe what would you describe your environment to have been like when you were growing up?
It was a great place to kickstart everything for me. I think there's a way that God has just had to channel everything planned for my life. And also just growing up in the Mayadi setup really exposed me to so many things and so many friends. And, and also having a new perspective of how I just view life, how the things that I get to entertain. They say your environment really matters, because in that very space, the people that you're talking to, like, even just there's a certain way that you start to speak because of the things, the people around you, right? So, and also just the opportunities that I've also had to find in the very place of my environment. So I think I can really put it like that. Yeah.
Okay. I know for somebody who's just joining us, like, I never mean like my environment. Somebody would ask, like, what is an environment? When we talk about an environment in the simplest definition, what is an environment?
So the environment is everything around you.
Okay.
And this influences how you act, how you behave, and also the way you just see certain things in there, right? You've got your things that are in the environment. You've got the trees, you've got shelter, and all that water that comes into the very picture. But also, just in simple terms, it's everything around you. Right now, I'm in this environment. Right? So I feel like I can just really put it like that. Or also maybe just the simple thing, everything around you that affects how you think, how you feel, and act. I love the way it has been put. How you think, act, and feel in that very moment, right? Because when you're in right now, I'm feeling cool, because of the environment, because of the aircon, right? So I feel like you can just put it like that.
Cool. Now, there is, just like you've put it, to say the environment is everything around you. And it controls, or maybe it influences how you think, how you feel, and how you act. So meaning it really matters. The environment really matters. Now, time and again, a number of us have been exposed to different types of environments. Some environments have been a positive type of environment on us, and some environments have really been toxic or have really been bad. How can a person be able to identify, to say, this environment is actually maybe holding me back when it comes to progress I'm supposed to be making for maybe in my career, in my relationship with God, or just in life in general? Maybe this environment is actually holding me back. How do I identify that environment?
Okay, so it starts, you can't identify it if you don't know where you're going, right? I can only know where I'm going if I know the GPS towards the place, right? And I'll be able to tell that this is a bad road and this is a good road. If I use this 10, it will lead me faster towards where I'm going. So I feel like one of the ways that you can really get to identify, first of all, what type of environment are you in? Right? What have you observed? What is their lifestyle? Right? Especially just their lifestyle itself. Like, how do people live in that environment, right? And that's why probably you find it that there's a certain way that Wakumaya behave, and there's a certain way
where the cool people.
We'll call not the we won't call it the company, but we'll call it the cool people, right? Live in that very sense, right? So a certain behavior rather, there's a certain way that people behave in that very space. So first of all, you have to see, where do you want to be, right? Wait, let's even take it back. As you were in primary school, you used to have careers there, right? And you had a dream of, I want to become a nurse, I want to become a soldier, I want to become a teacher, a pilot, and all that stuff. But also, for you to become that very person, there's a certain environment, right? And also, in this conversation, let's think of the environment as our mind. right? Let's not think about the environment as
Outside.
the outside. Because if you are defeated inside, you're defeated outside. So the environment that we're talking about in this conversation is your mind. What are you feeding yourself, right? Yes, our parents, our teachers, right, had to really jumpstart something, right? That's why you were excited when it's Careers Day, like, yay!
When I grow up, guys, grown up, but we are not what we wanted to be.
You see? And also part of that could be because of maybe certain situations, but also mainly part about that is the environment, right? You can do all things with the things that you tell yourself. So where do you want to be in life? All right. And also, what have you been meditating on? Because we meditate through what we see and what we hear. So many other times, you and I were in a position where we're listening to different things. We're seeing Uncle Banda, right, drinking. When it comes back from where he was drinking from, he's coming back and shouting, falling, right? And that's what you see every day, and you usually look up to. And that's what my pastor always tells me, that you have to act right all the time, because you don't know who's seeing you, who's watching you, right? Who's observing what you're doing, or who you're getting to inspire. Because there's some people that will never step out to tell you that, hey, you inspire me, but just through your character, and also that. But also going back to just where you want to be in life. You already have that light jump started, right? Of it's like you lighting up a candle. When you light it up, right, you have to keep it not in an open space where there's wind blowing out there. You have to keep it in a certain right. And also, just to add on to that, is that when you buy a product, when you just check all the details there, they will tell you that keep this in a cool space. Right? Because you won't get the value out of that particular product. So what about you? Where do you want to be? Where do you want to go? Right? Yes, so many things are happening, but where do you want to go? What are you feeding your mind with? That's the first question. That's the way you're going to identify which environment is good for you and which one is not good for you, right? So really keep it like that.
So as long as you don't know where you want to go and who you are, it's pointless whether the environment is good or it's not
good. Because I wasn't even able to tell that this environment is good for me. I'm like, this is cool. You see?
I really love that. Because, sometimes we tend to make it look like it's just about the outside part, I was not inspired at home. They didn't motivate me at home. The question is, you wanted motivation. Where are you going for that motivation? Because at the end of the day, how are we supposed to motivate you if we do not know exactly what you want to do out of life? Wow, I just love that. Now, maybe the other question that I would ask is, a number of us will stay in these environments. Maybe the environment is really toxic. You do not really get motivation. People don't believe in your dreams, where you are, and all of those things. Why are a number of us really staying in bad spaces, even when we know that this space is not conducive for me?
It's a choice. You've spoken about, like there's some places. Sometimes we don't have a choice to come out because maybe we're not financially free, or we don't have the capacity to rather come out of that particular place, right? Let's really break it down, or bring it down to you living with an abusive uncle, you living with an abusive auntie, right? You living you working at the workplace where your boss is just so abusive, right? But you've got no choice. This is where you're getting your money to make your income, rather, right? At that point, what are you gonna do, right? First of all, we tackle it in a way of your child, right? Your youth, right? Living at your uncle's place, but it's not what you really desire to be, right? You also just long to live in a peaceful environment where you're not seeing your uncle, your auntie, or your mother or father fighting. You just want to live in a peaceful environment where everything is cool and all that stuff. At that point, you have got a choice. The only choice that you can make at that point is what you choose to tell yourself in the midst of that, all right? Because we always wait for people to be there for us. But how often have you been there for yourself?
Wow.
right? So in that space is where I know it's a painful place to be at, right? We may not understand the magnitude of what you might be feeling at that very moment, but in that situation, what you get to tell yourself, what you get to remind yourself is, where do I want to be? And how can I encourage myself in this situation, right? So that you're able to really grow. You're able to really, see things differently. Even if things are bad at that very moment. That's what it is. The Bible talks about that faith sees things differently, right? You might be seeing it as the side of, at that point, things are really bad. But at that point, all you have to be, your body is just crying for yourself. Like, as far as the people that are dependent on you, your body is depending on you. Or let me even put it like this: your future is depending on you. The people that we haven't seen yet, right? But those people are depending on us. So it's choices that we have to make for ourselves. You can't leave the place, right? Maybe because you don't have relatives. Right? Or maybe your family have rejected you. But at that point, you have to be there for yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really feel like a number of us tend to not really look at the good side of the bad coin, or the good side of something that is bad in the moment. So you tell yourself to say, I have to exit, I have to leave this place. But at the end of the day, it could be, there is something positive that you can look at in that environment. Yeah, and sometimes a number of us don't leave bad spaces because we are scared of change. Yeah, for example, if you have a choice, in a situation where you have a choice, you know that maybe this environment at work, you're not growing, you're not progressing. But sometimes we stay in those environments because we're scared of what we will find outside there.
But just also to add on to that, I feel like there's something about it. Right?
Yeah.
Especially, it's a sensitive topic, especially when it comes to making choices and also just the environments that we're in. And right, that's why from the beginning we spoke about the power of the mind, like the things that you get to feed your mind about. Like the environment is also now your mind, right? Because if you're able to create a peaceful, you've already created your environment, it's going to be hard for people to discourage you, right? So in that situation, you have to really weigh yourself. Like if you're in a workplace that is so bad, like at the end of the day, if you see yourself to be of value, you can leave the place.
You can leave the place, yeah.
Right? But also the way you leave really matters.
Really matters, yeah.
Because most of us were just like, hey, the last day, you don't know who I am.
You don't know who I am.
Because
I'm better than this place.
Yeah, because you've already applied to another place. So you have to be careful with the way you leave the places that are toxic. Right? And also the way you leave those particular people. Because at some point you might need them.
You might need them.
Yes, they might have acted in a toxic way, but you need to really leave it in a peaceful manner. Yours is to leave, yes, they did something that was so bad to you. But yours is to leave in a peaceful manner.
Way.
Wow. Yeah.
I really love the fact that you've mentioned the part of living in a peaceful way. So just in case you're out there and you are in a place where you feel like it's not good enough for you and you feel like, it's time for me to actually move out of this place, make sure that you leave that place. Don't bend the bridge. Just in case where you're going, things don't go well. You might be able to actually go back to the place where you're coming from. Even us that are being kept now in homes where we feel like our uncles or aunties or our parents are being abusive. In case where you find a better place to go out, guys. Leave it the way you left it. No, thank you very much. You kept me, you fed me, you've done everything that I have needed. But I just feel like maybe I'll go to Auntie So and maybe just live with them for some days or for, But in case of anything, I'll be coming back to visit. Otherwise,
do you know who I am?
Do you know who I am? Me, I can... because at a certain point you may need to actually come back. Probably maybe the other question that I would want to ask is, you've spoken about building an environment for yourself within your mind where it's peaceful and it's all of those. I believe to say it's not easy for somebody who's hearing this for the first time. So how do I journey or how do I navigate moments where I get to build an environment that is peaceful in my mind. And probably maybe because I believe the Bible will say, out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So I believe it's out of the abundance of what is inside of you that you'll be able to influence the outside part of you. Now, how do you get to a place where you build an environment that is peaceful for you up here?
It goes back to what you meditate, right? What you tell yourself, what you listen to.
What you listen to.
Right? All that, because that forms you, right? When you're listening to a sermon, right, and the pastor is so bad, you feel like, you can conquer the world, right? So in that very meeting, your friends really matter. I feel like in the very spaces, because you're not always with the people that are abusive, but you're always with the people that are, that will be probably some part of the people will be so positive, right? So you dwell much on that. But also, I feel like it goes back to the decision that you're making in the moment. Right? So yes, things are tough, and we might not understand how bad the situation is, but in that very space, you've got a choice to make. It's between life and death. Because you might be killing yourself in the very space you find. You can conform yourself to people that are drinking. Right? You can conform yourself to things that maybe will start to, self-inflicted pain, or anything that you might be doing to yourself as a way of just trying to get off certain things out. But you need to first of all deal with yourself, and it's something that we're not taught as growing up, right? But it's something that it's a culture that we have to start to develop now, right? Because our parents, some people were never born with their parents, right? And some parents have got the 9 to 5, so they're busy and they can't really commit to really just tell this child how to fight their own battles, how to, grow, and how to become the person that can defeat things easily. They won't get affected with what's outside. So it starts with you, what you're meditating on at that very moment. At that time, the situation is so intense, right? And all you want to do at that point is just find peace. But sometimes the peace that you might find, it might look nice now. Like, oh, okay, cool, this is peace, but it's not peaceful. Right? The friends that you're hanging out now, you're just chilling up with them, but you start to do this, it's like you're planting a seed. Yes, you're trying to get out of this situation, but you might also be digging your own grave.
Very true.
That's what I'm saying. It's a sensitive topic, and also the way you just go about it really matters, right? Church really helps out a lot. Church is not a perfect place. First of all, we have to also keep that in mind.
Let's bear that in mind.
So you also have to be in a space where you're reminding yourself, you're surrounded with people that you can tell that this is a bad person and this is a good person. Right? As long as you've got your 5 senses, you can just say that, okay, if I hang out
with this person,
with you, I know that I'm gonna get motivated. Right? I'm gonna get inspired. And also reading, guys. Reading really helps out a lot. It helps you to have a new perspective of how you're gonna see things.
Wow. I just love the fact that you mentioned the type of friends that we hang out with. The majority of the times, sometimes we get wrong advice from the people that we hang out with. The situation it's bad at home, A, B, C, D, and E, and then probably maybe they'll bring you into something that might actually be leading you astray. And I always tell myself to say, in the midst of a situation, let me not develop a habit that will become an issue in the future. Because sometimes you sit here because things are tough, things are rough, and you just want to probably maybe forget. So maybe you go to cigarettes, maybe you go to drinking, you go to partying, and all of those things. But when that issue is gone, how are you going to deal with the new habits that you have adopted? So it's crazy.
It's a trap. I feel like how I wish, probably the next time we can dwell much on that, because I feel like that's where a lot of us are. Right? We feel like we create a mini safe place, right? Not knowing that space that we've created is also like a tunnel that is leading that you make you regret later on. While you were just talking about that, I kept on thinking about how I wish parents would really start to teach their kids on just how to have a vision, right? Because in these most of these situations, the best way that we can navigate through them is, or the best way to have your GPS out of these situations is to have a vision, right? To remind yourself of who you are, because it's easy for you to change your mindset, to be influenced by what you're going through at that point. So it's very important, as parents, brothers and sisters, right? To teach a child on who they want to be, because that could be the only hope that they have. Yeah. So I feel like in such places, get to teach your children as young as they are, right? As they are, and them at that point, they believe in possibilities. They believe they can be Spider-Man. Right? So, but remind them of, before they go to sleep, they pray, remind them of who they want to become. Take them in that space where they want to be. If there's that limited, you can make them even watch a video of this is how it feels, because I'm creating a belief system. Everything that we're talking about here falls under belief system, right? And this belief system can easily be influenced by certain small things. And that's why the environment has got so much power. So as you are going out there, you need to really focus on the environment and the power that is in you. It's like lighting up something, like when you in Kunizija, right? When you put them all together, they'll be able to create like a circle, right? When they light it up, they'll be able to charge each other, until the mission is
accomplished.
So I feel like I see it in that very way.
Wow, I couldn't advise the parents any better. I couldn't advise parents any better. So if you are a parent out there or wishing to become a parent someday, I hope part of the things that you're going to plan. I think a number of parents will plan out their future, but they will not really plan on how to guide their children through life. So let's take time to actually teach our children or guide our children. In a situation where you're in an environment where maybe your uncle, your auntie or your brother, maybe they may not really have the time to inculcate such values or such beliefs in a child. Do it because you know. In Africa we say a child in a child in Africa is not raised just by one family. It's raised by everybody in the community, everybody in the environment. So let's also take time to teach these kids. Let it not just be you are just sending them, bring me this, bring me that. Have time to also have those conversations with the children. Now we are in an era where there's a lot of influence from social media. You get right, where even the foreign culture now is influencing how we are living. How do a person maybe navigate spaces or navigate social media without it having maybe a negative effect on them? Because social media has also become an environment on its own.
Right. And while we were just constructing the question, in my mind I was thinking about a vision. I was thinking about how, if our parents really took us back to just creating that vision of who do you want to be. I know most of the times as parents they get to only put their kids in a space where it's careers day. They will get to make them put on these clothes, and it just ends there. But also, before I lose my line of thought, just repeat the question again.
So my question is, in a situation where we know that now social media is an environment of its own, so how does one get to navigate life without allowing social media to actually become a bad influence on them?
Okay, so it goes back to the vision that I was talking about, right? Because if it was already embedded in me, right, it's gonna be easy for me to, even if I fall back, I still have hope that I want to become this, right? Like, I love a BMW, right? So every time I see a BMW, I have that hope that I'm gonna have it, right?
Yeah.
I'll have it one day. So it also starts with what you plant the seed that you're planting now, right? I feel like this also just goes back to, as one day you're gonna become a parent, you already have a brother or sister who are growing up.
Yeah.
They have not experienced the things that you and I have experienced, right? The bad and the negativity stuff that have affected how we believe, how we just think or perceive certain things. Our their belief system at that point is still developing, right? So it starts with the things that we get to tell ourselves, the things, the seeds that we plant, right? So at that point, how you can navigate through that is the vision. While you're constructing the creation, I just kept on thinking the vision came first. Like, if it was already told, like, because the kids that will never, they will never feel intimidated, right? Because what the parents taught them, like, I'm a superhero, right?
I'm the starring in my story.
Yeah. So in that space is the vision that will save you. Right? Because if it starts at the very young age, no matter what, even if you insult me, even if you discourage me, even if I go on social media, I see certain things happening because it has already been embedded on my mind that this is who I will be. It won't really affect me that much. So it goes back to your vision. It goes back to the belief system that you're getting to wire into yourself and your young brothers, because their minds are not yet wired to that level where they can make their own decision, right? Because if I had to tell you that, I tagged you on social media, right? I go to picture and I tell you that, this girl, she's ugly. Maybe because I wanted you, I proposed to you and you said no to me, right? And I take it to social media and just like, this girl, she's ugly. Would that affect you?
No, if I have a vision, it will not. If I have a vision, it will not.
Yeah, it'll be like, you'll be like, ouch.
Yeah.
But you know where you're going, right? There's a saying that, hopefully I won't forget this. Don't throw stones to dogs that are gonna back at you. Like, you can't throw stones at every dog that is gonna back at you, right? Because you won't reach where you're going. And eventually you get tired.
You get tired.
Right? So the things that will affect you will really, hit you here and there, right? But you know where you're going. That's why it went back to your vision, right? That's why it's very important, even as parents, right? Like as brothers and sisters, sometimes take your brothers or children, rather, the spaces that will ignite something, that will light up something. Like today I had an experience of where a parent came to my workplace, right? And there's a colleague of mine, rather, that gets to work on certain things. So what this kid was so excited because they're building up this talent of learning how to make beats, and they were brought in this space where it's like of a well-established producer. So this kid felt like this is live. These are the things that I wish to have, right? So imagine if you're always taking yourself to places that remind you of who you are more than what people tell you who you might be. So it really keeps you in positions where your vision, it goes back to your vision, right? We always, the sad part about life is that we only get to hear about visions when we've already grown, right? And the careers day that we just, it's just like a space where kids put on whatever that they want to be, the one, at that point, and it ends there, right? But who's nurturing them? Who's influencing? Who's wiring their belief system? Because when I go on social media, they're telling me that I'm not handsome because I don't have A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I didn't grow up in this particular environment. You get it, right? So it all goes back to, as a parent, before your kids sleep. I know most of the times that we see it on movies, where parents...
We see it on movies, bedtime stories, prayer, reminder, affirmations. We see them on social media. Wow. So when you have a vision, basically, and when you know who you are, social media or whatever that's around you, really, it may have an impact on you, but it doesn't have like a very strong grip on you because you know who you are. Wow. I've really enjoyed this conversation. And in case you're just joining us, this is the Spotlight, where we have meaningful conversations that edify, equip, and ignite the pursuit of purpose. And today we're talking about the power of the environment. So it's not just about the things that surround us, the people that surround us, but it's also about the mind. What are you feeding your mind with? What are you meditating on? Who are you listening to? Who are you surrounding yourself with? What are you building in your children? One, I've really enjoyed the fact that we've meditated so much on the children and parents actually just building that in their children. What are your last remarks on this conversation?
Well, this is like the sad part about life.
It has to come to an end.
Oh, yeah. But also, what you can put an end to is the things that you're feeding yourself, right?
Yeah.
And my heart goes out to the kids, right? Now you're an adult. Now you've seen how life is, right? It starts with the seed that you're planting in these little ones, because most of the times they're the ones that are affected the most. You and I might know how to navigate, or we might still struggle here and there, right? Depending with the choices that you're making, right? Because the environment gives you so many rather options at that very point. You can choose to really put the blame game on everybody, that uncle, that auntie, but at the end of the day, it's you who's going through that, right? And also the fact that you get to wake up every day, that means that there's hope for you to become the person that you want to be, despite of how toxic the environment might be. Sometimes we don't have an option to leave the space, right? But what do we do in the spaces, with the times when we don't have where to go, but the environment is toxic? Is you saying to yourself that I've got a choice? I've heard people that say that I don't have a choice. That's why I'm doing this. No, you do have a choice.
You have a choice.
The choice that you have there is for yourself, right? To control the inner you with the decision that you're making, because in that space, you're already being influenced with what's happening. You're being diluted, if I can put it like that, because if you're already, it's like making juice. When you add too much water rather in the juice, you won't get the sweetness out of that, right? So it's you reminding yourself of where you want to go, where you want to be. Let's get back to, I want to be a superhero. I want to be a doctor, right? It was so fun and so cool. And then look at my young brothers and sisters that they're excited on Careers Day, like I want to be this, right? But also you as an adult now, you've got an option to make, which is making a choice. I've heard so many people say, I don't have a choice. You do have a choice. The fact that you have
the fact that you know that you don't have a choice, you have a choice.
To make at that point, right, is to be there for yourself. Because I might not understand what you're going through, right? And you might want to get into self-pity.
We do that a lot. We do that. I was looking at you because I want you to feel pity for me.
Right. And self-pity is like a huge obstacle in this topic, right? But hopefully next time we might talk about it, because a lot of people have ended up making bad decisions, right? Because of self-pity. Once I might come to you, my navutika, mami wanafa, kweninka sunshine. Like, for how long are you gonna be? It has a time, because it also reminds me of in the Bible, right, where there was a man that was always seated by the poolside, and I have just forgotten the scripture, but he always used to ask for help, but people never ran to him to help him, and just paraphrasing the whole story. But that's the position that we're in most of the times, right? It's, what do you have now?
What do you have now?
I've got words. I don't have money, but I've got ways to remind myself of where I'm going, the type of a person that I want to be. I always talk about that I want to have a BMW, right? Despite of the influence that I've heard, like, it's hard to maintain, but I want to have a BMW.
I still want to have it.
So, but it's really a deep topic, and which requires most of the times it's for yourself. You say that you love yourself, you ain't gonna make bad decisions.
Wow. That was a very powerful way to end it. If you say you love yourself, then you're not going to make bad decisions. And part of the decisions that you are going to make, if you really love yourself, is to create an environment for yourself that is actually conducive. The environment around you, which is probably maybe the people, the family you're coming from, they may be toxic and all of those things. But the question is, what are you feeding yourself with?
What are you feeding your mind?
Your mind with,
because they're already feeding your mind at that point. But what about you?
What about you? What are you feeding your mind?
Yeah.
So we've come to the end of today's conversation. I have really loved and I have really learned a lot. I hope you have. So from me to Joyce Mukunta and my brother Cliff, yes, bye-bye and God bless.